Hey everyone, Sarah Squires here, the Nurturing Coach, and today I want to talk to you about what do you do when your ex triangulates the children to get their own way. So when you're co-parenting with a narcissistic, this is quite common because what happens is you leave and you put some boundaries in place around you. You may limit how much they can contact you. You develop a bit more strength and control over your own life. And so they have less control and they don't like it, but they know that your kryptonite is your children. And so, they can't get to you anymore. So they will use the children to get round you. And that's ultimately what they're doing, is they're still trying to get at you. What you're showing there is actually quite positive on one aspect. It shows the power of your boundaries. Your boundaries are working because they're having to go round them. Obviously, the downside of that is that they're going through the children. So today we're going to talk about what do you do about that. So the first thing is, one, reaffirm your boundaries. So if they're coming at you through the children, well, I'll talk to you in a minute about the children, but reaffirm your boundaries with the ex. So whatever it is that they are pushing and they're trying to do it through the children, don't deal with the child on that, or the children on that. Reaffirm the boundary with the adult. Go straight to them and say, we've had this conversation. This is the situation and it's not going to change. Please do not involve the children in this discussion. So reaffirm it with them. Step one. Step two is dealing with the children on this. So I've talked about this in the parental alienation videos. The most important thing for you to do is to say, put a boundary in place with your own children and say, this is not for you to discuss. This is between me and the other parent. This is a conversation for adults. You are a child and I want you to stay a child for as long as you can, because you want to be thinking about what toy to play with, doing your homework. You do not need to be concerned with adult issues. That's my job as your mum or your dad. My job is to protect you from having these difficult decisions to make. And so we will not be discussing this. I talk about this with the other parent. So boundary in place with your child. Third thing you do is help your children to put boundaries in place. Now, it's harder for them because they don't necessarily fully understand, but you are demonstrating to them. So in putting those first two stages in process, you are showing them how to use boundaries and how powerful they are. So in my book, for those of you that have grabbed it, £15 from Amazon, it's got loads of information on how to rules and boundaries. So looking at how you can have family rule discussions, using clear instructions. There's practical tips in there on how do you help your child to understand boundaries, how to set their own boundaries on that. There's also the fourth layer of boundaries on this, which I use to great effect in my life, is your spiritual and energetic boundaries. And this is, you don't have to have a conversation with anyone. This isn't about anyone else. It's about you asking for protection from whatever you believe in. God, source, angels, spirit guides, whatever, or all of them. Say to them, protect me and my child from what is going on. Help your child. You don't have to be specific about it, but you can say to them, I just want you to imagine that you're walking around in this brilliant bubble of white light and it's protecting you from anything nasty, from anything that might cause you any harm. Let's do this together. Let's close our eyes and let's imagine ourselves in this bubble that's protecting us from anything that is meant to do us any harm. And they'll like that, and believe me, children have way better imaginations than us as adults. They'll be able to do this. And it will be a really powerful way of protecting them from the narcissist attacks, and they won't even know they're doing it. So the child won't know it specifically, because you're not going to say to protect you from your mum or your dad. You're just saying this beautiful bubble to protect us from anything or any horrible words that anyone says, any harm that anyone is trying to do to us. They will buy it and they will do it, and let the spirits and the energetic world do the rest of it for you. Like I say, you might not believe in that, but it works. It does work. Give it a go. Children will get it. Do it for yourself as well. So the second point, that was boundaries and the 4 steps of boundary setting. The second one is own your decision. You know, you've set a boundary. Now own it. You know, you don't necessarily have to explain to your children, but if they're at an age where you can, in age-appropriate terms, then state, this is the reason for my decision, because I don't think it's age-appropriate for you, and my job is to protect you and to keep you as a child. You know, the other parent is trying to be best buddies with them and trying to adultify them or parentify them way earlier than they should be, by saying, you can have whatever you want. I want this, you want this. Your job, whether they like it or not, is to protect them. And, you know, you're planting those seeds for them, that you're there to protect them. The reason for my decision was, and you can give them age-appropriate reasons. Like I say, you can also say to them, as per the first one, which is, this isn't for you you don't need to worry about this. This is between me and your other parent. You, please, don't worry. Let us deal with this. You focus on being a kid and having fun and enjoying yourself. You know, so you've got 2 options around there, depending on the age of the child, their level of understanding. You know, make sure that you're not burdening them. But if they are old enough to understand your reasons, then give them age-appropriate reasons. But own your decision. You made it. Stand by it. Don't let anything be swayed. Third one is, remember your own emotions in this. Think about, why is this bothering you so much? Why are you tempted by them using the children to change your mind? What is that teaching your children? It's teaching them that actually, if you get no the first time, just come from a different angle and abuse the situation. So really think about your own, it might be fear of not being liked by your child. You know, kids don't like us sometimes, that's okay. But it doesn't mean that you don't put boundaries in place. It doesn't mean that you don't do what you need to do to protect them. But you do it, as I've spoken about, you do it in a way that is nurturing, that is caring. You know, that shows them that, like it or lump it, my job is to protect you, and I will sometimes have to make hard decisions, and sometimes you are not going to agree with me, and I understand that, and I want to talk about that with you, but ultimately I am the parent, and it falls upon me. When you're a parent, you will have these decisions to make, and you can talk about when they were a child, when they were a baby, was it their job? Did they get to decide when they, you know, what they wore? No, it was my job as a parent to choose the right clothing for weather, choose when to feed you, choose when to change your nappy, because I am the parent. And you could take that up their timeline to different ages. It's my job to do it then. Was it your responsibility to decide what school you went to? No, that was a parent's decision, because we understood more about the location and the travel. So help them to show them why you are protecting them and what is their responsibility, what isn't. Again, this is all in the book. And the final one, I've covered the final one, which was to protect yourself. So there you go. We've got 3 powerful ways for you to deal with the triangulation that the narcissist will inevitably do. This is part of it. But remember that it shows that your boundaries are good, because they're having to go around them. Teach your child how to set their own boundaries. No, maybe not in this situation, but there will be situations with school friends that you can show them, okay, so how do you feel? What's right for you? Teach them to be assertive. Teach them to see things from other people's perspective. Empathy. You know, again, they are all in the book. But these are the skills that you can teach them, to look at all the decisions from different perspectives and help them, rather than feel the pressure from the narcissist parent. You can help them and you can show them, you know, I've had to make this decision because, and again, it's all about doing everything that the narcissist isn't doing ultimately. But yeah, I hope you found these helpful. Any questions? Pop them below. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.